speaker is Marlet de Jager, also known as Molly and the Mountains. Molly has one superpower, and that's her ability to pee in a bottle, while in a tent, in a sleeping bag, on the side of a mountain in minus 40 degrees. She's a professional speaker, coach, and has over 20 years' experience in the beauty industry. Her one school report said, Marlet shows no interest in physical activities. Apparently, that's not true. When Molly is not speaking or coaching, she's climbing mountains, riding her mountain or motorbike, or walking her 3 cats. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Molly with her presentation, The 6 Shits to Give. Give her a big hand.
I've been told that the way you describe life says a lot about you. Some choose to describe it as a roller coaster, and others like the famous t-shirt slogan that life's a beach. Well, understandably, I choose to describe life as my favorite places in the world, and that is, of course, the mountains. Like the mountains, life has its ups and downs, its highs and lows, its summits and its base camps. And like the mountains, life is treacherous, and we're simply not going to get out alive. So like a mountaineer, wouldn't you like to know when to take a shit and when to give a shit? Because if you do, you can enjoy more of the views in life, more of the highs, the summits, achieving your goals. And so I'm going to share with you my 6 of the 7 summits and the different lessons I've learned along the way. The first one was because I said yes to a road trip that culminated in us being in Tanzania, and once there, saying yes to climbing Africa's highest mountain, Kilimanjaro. Despite being young, broke, ignorant, and inexperienced, never having climbed a mountain before, saying yes to this experience led me on this unbelievable journey that's brought me to where I am today. So lesson 1, say yes to and do epic shit. Now it was 10 years before I set my sights on another big mountain, this time the highest mountain in Europe, Mount Elbrus. But 5 months before the climb, I had a skiing accident, and at the resulting knee surgery, I was told there was no ways I could go and climb this mountain in August. However, I rather cheekily and defiantly took the surgeon a photo of myself on the summit at my 6-month checkup. Now, I saw him again 2 years later, and he still had this photo on his desk to show his patients what was possible. So lesson 2, don't listen to negative shit from yourself or from others. Now, it was 3 years later I was climbing again, and this time at Concagua, the highest mountain in Argentina, and also at under 7,000 meters in the southern hemisphere. On this mountain, we'd been acclimatizing for a couple of weeks, as one does, and so too in life, our situations change quickly, don't they? The weather changed, as it typically does. And so, despite being at high camp, close to the summit, the white winds blew in, and there was no way we could go any further. And so, despite being so close, we could not attain our goal. Life too, we're often not successful at our first attempt. But don't let shit get to you. You can always try again, which we did the following year in 2014. Which is the same year we were climbing the highest mountain in North America, and the world's coldest mountain, Denali. On this mountain, you get issued this green bucket. It's called a clean mountain can, and that's essentially your team's toilet. So when it's your turn to take a shit, you've got to ask for the bucket, so everyone knows what you're doing. You roll your plastic bag into it, you do your thing, you take out your bag, and you drag it on your sled, where everyone can see, until you can dispose of it. So in life too, deal with your shit. Drag it around for only an appropriate amount of time, and then let it go. The following year, in 2015, we went to climb Mount Everest, the world's highest mountain. We'd been in Nepal for a couple of weeks, acclimatizing on other mountains, and had come back to base camp when on the 25th of April, disaster struck. A 7.9 magnitude earthquake struck Nepal, killing over 8,000 people, and the resulting avalanche it triggered at base camp that swept over us killed about 20. And so too, our climb was ended. We were devastated, but also traumatized by these events. I said I'd never go back. So too in life, unexpectedly, shit happens. We need to almost expect it and then deal with it. 4 years later, I was climbing again, this time in Australasia. The highest mountain in that area is called the Carstens Pyramid. Now, the lesson I'm going to share with you from this mountain is very different to what most motivational speakers say. They say, never give up. Well, I'm going to say, know when to quit shit. On the expedition, there was a 10-year-old trying to be the youngest to climb the Indonesian 7 summits. She couldn't get over the first rock face obstacle, and devastated and in tears, I said to her it was okay to just quit at this point and come back at another time. And just as well she did, because the following day, she would have faced a really tricky traverse close to the summit that struck fear into even the hearts of us experienced adult climbers. So too in life, we need to know when to quit shit, whether it be a mountain, a job, a relationship, or any other situation that is bad for us. Just like her, we can always try again, which she successfully did a few months later. And I tried again too. And so on the 12th of May 2021, I stood on the summit of Mount Everest, the highest mountain on earth, achieving my ultimate goal. But that mountain, I cannot explain to you in the few seconds I have left what that 45-day experience was like. It took everything in me, all the shits I had to give, because ultimately, we had to really, when the going gets tough, be prepared, be resilient, and have our shit together. Because on Everest, if you don't, and if you give up, you end up dead, like one of the men in these pictures, or injured with frostbite, like the other who lost 7 fingertips. Now, on Everest and in life, when the going gets tough, I was the closest I ever have been to death, here in the death zone. I had to really have my shit together. And despite being the ugliest I've ever been, I could enjoy the most beautiful views that the world had to give from the top of the world. And so can you. When you deal with your shit, when you don't listen to negative shit, when you don't let shit get to you, and ultimately have your shit together, you too can experience the highs, reaching your goals, the summits of life. However, there's one more skill that we as mountaineers need. And that is the skill of knowing how to pee in a bottle, in a tent, in a sleeping bag, right next to your fellow mountaineer, on the side of a mountain in -40. Now, what does that mean for you? Well, sometimes you simply have no more shits to give, and then you just have to go with the flow. Thank you.